Hello, welcome to episode 65 of Ring Takes here. I'm your host, Daniel Daly, of course, with our co-host, Brian and Lewis. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Betrayal seems to be a big thing happening in WWE this past week, especially starting off with bright colored suits are a red flag. Now, of course, in 2013, Mark Henry was on his way out the door, salmon suit, and was basically going into greater pastures, right? He's at the end of his career. He's been in WWE since 1996, and he's basically alluding, hey, I haven't had the success that I wanted, but I gave everything I had. John Cena comes out to show respect, and the biggest swerve of probably around that time happens where Mark Henry pulls him in, World's Strongest Slam, and says, I have way more left in the tank. Well, AJ Styles wanted to pull a Mark Henry and fools Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. I just wanted to do something before we start here. I don't have a bright colored suit jacket.
You don't have a salmon jacket?
I don't have a salmon jacket, but I wanted to show solidarity here with my brothers Mark Henry and AJ Styles.
And, you're lucky my suit jacket's artwork.
And just show a little solidarity. What do you guys make of this? Of course, we've been hearing AJ Styles saying that he's thinking about winding things down. He's at probably the later stages of his career. What do you guys think about his promo, his setup, and paying tribute to Mark Henry with the suit jackets? I don't have a bright suit jacket. All I have is black, but it seemed to work for this segment.
You're definitely giving off those the retirement vibes. I definitely see you saying that you're gonna be done with the podcast at the very end, and this is gonna be your last show.
Damn it! I should have did that.
65 episodes. That was the number. That was the magic number. 65. So Daniel, you described the Mark Henry promo from 2013. I actually remember watching this promo. I was in college at the time at Northeastern, watching this in my dorm, and I actually remember legitimately thinking that Mark Henry was going to retire in that moment.
We all did.
Yeah, exactly. He really was convincing with that speech, and we typically tend to be the type of fans that we always want to say that we can see things coming with WWE with their booking. We think we can always predict everything, and that was one time when they really did, get us. Mark Henry, like I said, was so convincing. Some of the things that he was talking about amongst his career. I think he had briefly mentioned like Mae Young, and something, all that stuff, the sexual chocolate gimmick and everything, and it really made you believe that he was gonna step away. And then for him to turn on John Cena the way he did, I specifically remember the pop from the crowd, because the crowd was really feeling somber for Mark Henry. Like he really pulled one on everybody. And then we fast forward, and then you fast forward to now. I guess we should have seen ahead of time that, if you're coming out and you're wearing bright colors, then you should know that if you're saying that you're retiring, that more than likely it's bullshit. So. People should see the coming.
AJ Styles is the face of SmackDown. He built
exactly, and they literally
AJ Styles built. He's showing respect to SmackDown wearing blue. We didn't think anything of it, Brian.
Yeah. Maybe we should have. And it's funny because Mark Henry was talking about AJ Styles' promo himself, I think on Busted Open Radio, and he was talking about how now, because since AJ Styles has done it now they have to go on tour together with their jackets now. But Mark Henry, he liked it. I know a lot of fans say that when I think it was AJ that raised Cody's hand, or Cody that raised AJ's hand. When AJ put his hands up to the crowd, apparently that was supposed to be the dead giveaway that he was about to turn. So because that's what Mark Henry did. Mark Henry did the exact same thing. But it was an
homage.
But it was a good little swerve. I know me personally, I didn't actually see it live. I kind of saw it on social media after the fact. So when I was watching it, I was kind of watching it with the perspective of comparing it to Mark Henry to kind of see where the similarities were. And it definitely was was a tribute to Mark Henry. But as far as the actual story goes coming out of it, I actually love this for AJ Styles because I think I was one of the people that was clamoring for the feud between him and Cody to actually continue on to another pay-per-view because I thought it was it was a little too fast, it was a little too quick, and I felt that there could have been more story to be told. Because I know when they built towards the show. I mean, it kind of was like a 2-week build. It was kind of AJ's the number one contender. It's going to be a competitive match, and literally that's what's going to sell it. Now you have an actual story behind it. With AJ now being like the clear-cut heel, as opposed to when he went into Backlash and got that fan response, you kind of thought the match was kind of like babyface and babyface. Now you establish AJ as a heel, and moving forward, obviously there's probably gonna be another title match to come out of it, and and we never complain when we get AJ Styles in the ring, so it's a positive moving forward. So,
AJ's gonna win the title.
Is that your hot take, Lewis?
Yes. I'm saying it now. We got a new heel version of AJ Styles. Yeah, so different from Brian, and I was talking to Daniel about this. I didn't catch SmackDown till today, actually. And I think I was a little surprised because I didn't see this pop up on social media at all. I kept hearing like, oh, AJ was talking about retirement on SmackDown. So I figured, one, if he did retire, I would have saw like articles about it. And two, if he didn't, I felt like I would have saw it on social media. So lucky enough, I actually got to watch the full episode and was like, is this really? But I think same thing once he like put the hands up going, I'm like, that clothesline's, it just looks like it's just about to come right now. And then lo and behold, bow.
See, what happened was he got too jacked. He got too jacked now.
No.
Yeah.
If this was thinner AJ, you never would have saw it coming.
But yeah, and I think Brian's right. I think the build up to Backlash was kind of short.
Sudden.
I feel like we could get more out of these guys, like an actual like feud. And I'm also intrigued to see if the OC is actually going to play a part in this. Yep. Which also kind of threw me for a loop because I'm like, he's been alluding. I mean, not recently, but I want to say before Backlash, like he was just kind of distancing himself away from the OC, or like, they haven't been talking, he hasn't been talking to me and him. So I don't really know what the OC's trajectory or path is right now. Like, I feel like they're another group that's just been like stuck in limbo, but I feel like that's also due to Gallows and Anderson, like their injuries and stuff, which sucks, but like I feel like they still have yet to be like properly utilized in WWE. But and you got me and him kind of doing our own thing now in NXT. So, but yeah, I think this is a great feud. I think I was one of those people that was worried. I was like, well, what's next for AJ Styles? Like, he just got a title shot, he loses. I think we all figured, first title defense. Cody's not dropping the title anytime soon, but it's like, what's going to happen to AJ? And I think that what Dan said, like, there was a lot of reports, a lot of people asked him, like, hey, what's next for you? What are you doing? And he's just like, well, I can't do this forever. I've been doing this. We all remember him young in TNA and doing all the crazy shit back then. To think of all that time now, we're like, this man used to wrestle with Kurt Angle and everything, it's like it's
weird because I was thinking about that because he was on WCW like year 2000.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Like as an extra hand and shit like that, trying to make his mark.
Enhancement guy, crazy.
Yeah, as an enhancement guy. So it's like that's 25 years, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like that because you always feel like AJ Styles has been in TNA, Japan. And it's like you don't realize he's been in WWE since what, 2015, 16?
16, yeah.
And once he left TNA, he said, "I'm never cutting my hair again." So yeah, it's crazy to think how long AJ's been doing this, but I'm kind of glad that they're keeping the feud alive. And I think this is, like I said earlier, I think is a great homage to Mark Henry, who I don't know why, but I do vividly remember watching that promo as well and being like sad that Mark Henry was like retiring. I'm like, this man world's strongest man, and everything. And then I remember that crowd reaction as well. Just like, this man played us. Like, we was all like, congrats. And then he's just like, oh,
it's that easy.
And that was right after the Hall of Pain, right? That was after the Hall of Pain.
I thought that brought on the Hall of Pain. No,
because he got hurt on.
No, that was after the Hall of Fame because I remember because I remember specifically in 2011. That's when the Hall of Fame was really ongoing. Because I remember because he had a match with the Big Show at that year's Money in the Bank, and he took Big Show out, took Big Show's leg out after. So I remember that. So it was 2011.
Yeah, but it's just you can keep going a little. Sorry.
No, so I think it was just a great tribute to Mark Henry, and with the rumors of him, leaving AEW, maybe he's coming back.
That's WWE's way of saying, "Hey, come back."
Think about it. I wonder if that was the whole reason why they did this tribute.
Well, I don't know if it's.
We got a job waiting for you. Come on. We haven't forgotten you. No, come on, come back.
No, I don't know I don't remember where exactly I read this, or if it was an interview or a tweet or something. But I think somebody asked Triple H about Mark Henry. He was like, "I'd take him back in a heartbeat. He's the one who found Bianca. He's found countless others, people who are future stars and blah, blah, blah." And he was like, with Bianca alone, that man has an eye for talent, which is true.
He found Jade as well.
Mm-hmm. Then get his ass back immediately. Then what we waiting for?
He found somebody else too. I can't remember.
Yeah. No. If he has an eye for talent in that man, I had no idea that he was responsible for Bianca and Jade.
Because they were athletes.
Eye for talent, then you need him.
Because they were athletes. Because Bianca was she was a track star and other stuff. Yeah,
she used to play basketball. She was weightlifter, fitness.
Yeah.
And Bianca used to be an athlete, fitness, weightlifting, stuff like that. So
there's somebody else.
I can't remember. There's somebody else. There's a third person I can't remember.
Wasn't Ember Moon? Was it?
If it was Ember Moon, that would make sense.
I think that's Booker T.
Oh, okay.
Because him and Booker T have found people, and they're both from. I believe they're both from Texas.
Yeah,
Ember Moon, Roxanne Perez, they found people that have been pretty good in wrestling. So if WWE's trying to bring him back, awesome. But as far as for AJ, as Brian and you, Lewis, stated, I'm just happy that AJ is getting another shot at it, especially defiantly as a heel, because after the whole LA Knight situation, they were kind of trying to tween him a little bit, but now he's directly a heel. I like the whole promo and stuff like that because, again, as you guys stated, in past interviews, recent interviews, he's been saying, "Hey, I don't know how much longer I have left." The whole thing with Nick Aldis, he's saying, "Hey, I don't want to go to the back of the line. I'm right here. I got to stay here." That's always a promising story in wrestling when the old timers trying to hang on and try to be in that spotlight. And it paid dividends. I like the way that it broke down. I like the fact that the OC was out there with him, giving them some type of direction, especially. I think that's good for the sign for the OC actually fully turning heel and being aligned with AJ still, because that sets them up for the tag team division, especially with the tag team division with Grayson Waller, DIY, and Austin Theory, and whatever direction they're going to go. You're going to need tag teams, and the Street Profits are there. AOP is there. Well, AOP's on Raw, but the Street Profits are there. You're going to need tag teams to solidify that tag team division. I think they're going to try to pick that up as the course of the summer goes. So I like that for the OC. Mia Yim's doing her own thing. I don't know. I think she should probably be back in the fold at some point. I wouldn't mind her turning heel as well, whatever the case may be. But again, setting up another match between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, probably at Clash of the Castle.
Most likely.
Nice.
Look at that, another 2-week build.
hey, this one's good though. This is good.
Back to bigger punch.
Honestly, for this Clash of the Castle show, I don't even think you necessarily need to have Cody defending the title on this show.
Yeah,
because you already got a lot. Because you already got a lot with Drew, and now we're about to talk about Piper Niven being in. You got your two hometown people, so you might not necessarily need Cody defending the title on the show.
Yeah, you could probably hold this off for SummerSlam. Honestly, that would be a longer build,
or Money in the Bank,
or Money in the Bank in Toronto.
Yeah.
Are there any Canadians on the roster? on SmackDown.
Natalia. No,
we need
we
need somebody to face Cody in Toronto. Like get Tyson Kidd back. Like he gets his one last shot.
Yeah, okay. Man, it's never wrestling again.
Never wrestling again. Damn, Tyson Kidd, man. But yeah, AJ Styles getting another shot at the title most likely, and bringing the OC with him. I think that's intriguing going forward, and hopefully that pays dividends for those guys. And Cody has another program, because we were kind of also wondering what Cody was going to do, right? Because it's like he fought Logan Paul. That was most likely a one-off for right now because of Saudi Arabia. And ever since the draft, it's kind of like he's just been kind of shuffling his feet around until AJ came. So if AJ is going to be his foil for the next couple months, we're fine with that. We're great with that because we're going to get good wrestling out of it. Let's continue on to Bayley has an upcoming battle with Piper Niven at Clash of the Castle. This all started with Nia Jax in the ring, basically targeting Bayley and saying what she's going to do as the new queen and running down. Bayley came out and got attacked by Piper Niven, and Piper Niven has been someone that we've always talked about as being, why isn't she featured more? She got hurt, stops and goes and stuff like that. But it seems like she's going to get an opportunity to face Bayley at Clash of the Castle in Scotland, I believe. So, and then she's from Scotland, if I'm right.
She's Irish. Is she Scottish?
I think she's from Scotland because it's blue and white.
She's Scottish. I think she's Scottish. Yeah.
So I don't want to say that she's getting the Mansoor treatment in local hometown favorites, but if Piper Niven is going to get a shot, I'm not mad at that.
She's getting the Zelina Vega treatment.
Everyone gets a shot in their hometown.
Exactly.
And I'm not mad at that, because it's like you need something different to change it up. And over the course, it's like, because you don't want to run. You got Bianca and Jade in the tag team division. You got to figure out what Nia Jax, she has her title match at SummerSlam. You got to find somebody to fill these voids. Chelsea Green's going to be on TV with this, but what do you guys think about this matchup potentially coming up in the segment on SmackDown?
I thought it was good. I feel like we haven't been seeing a lot of Bayley lately. So I think it was kind of good to like remind everybody that she's there.
She's the champion.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, I guess it's also kind of the King of the Rings that took over for those couple weeks, and then the PLE and everything. So I guess
story building, Lewis. Story building.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, but hey, I mean, I feel like even still through all that, you still got to see like Cody. I mean, obviously because he was on the PLE, but we still saw Damian, and then Liv and Becky and all this stuff. And this is like, well, where the hell is Bayley? So I feel like now we're getting back on track. Bringing her back on TV, but obviously using Piper just makes sense. She looks strong. I honestly think her and Chelsea Green need to split up at some point if she's to become her own star. I think that's definitely needed. I feel like she's kind of been in this like tag team role for a little bit now, and it's like, it is what it is. I feel like it's just to keep people on TV for the tag titles, but like if we're trying to create new stars, this will hopefully be an opportunity for her to show her stuff and show that she's an actual contender that should be looked at seriously. So I'm excited for it. I'm sure she's gonna get a huge pop, obviously because she's from Scotland. So you never know. It might be a Selena situation where, she gets more support than, we actually think that, she deserves and stuff. So we'll see.
In my humble opinion, you guys want to know why Piper Niven hasn't been booked the way that we feel as though she should be booked? It's the exact same reason why Karrion Kross is where he is right now. It's because people still have a bad taste in their mouths from how they were booked under Vince. For God's sakes, her name. Yep, you just said the name, and I hated that. I hated that fucking name for her. They named her Do Fucking Drop. Do Drop. That was her name. They had her in that managerial role with Eva Marie at the time, and then they randomly broke them up like weeks into it without even telling a good story as to why they had broken up. and then she was a baby face, walking to the ring, doing her hands like this to everybody. And it was a far cry away from the Piper Niven that was in NXT UK, the Piper Niven that was in NXT, just dominating everybody. I think she's a former NXT UK Women's Champion, if I remember correctly. But
actually,
I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. Sure, but she was dominant. And I think that, along with, I know she's had like injury issues and a couple of other bad timing things. I think there was one time where like she had to be taken off TV because of her visa, and she's kind of had just a very like bad timing with a lot of things. But I do think that her initial booking is the reason why she's kind of been at a disadvantage for so long. So thank God she's finally getting this opportunity, and even though it's kind of more because of the hometown situation, if I was her, I would just take it as an opportunity to kind of like come around and remind everybody of why she was so dominant in NXT UK, and maybe from this performance that she can finally be booked as, it's kind of similar to how Nia Jax is being booked as a kind of dominant heel. I mean, the fact that when you see Piper Niven and Nia Jax, even though when they stand next to one another, Nia obviously towers her. But when you see both of them together, you should be thinking of them kind of in the same manner as dominant women. Right now, you're only seeing one of them as dominant, and not Piper Niven so much. So I'm looking at this match as an opportunity for her to kind of remind everybody why she was so dominant and why people were kind of have high expectations for her in the first place. And it's going to be against Bayley, which I'm very interested in, because Scotland is still Europe, so Bayley may still be getting that "Will you be my girl" chant when she's out there. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work out, since Piper is from Scotland. So that's gonna be interesting.
I definitely like the dynamic of these two, kind of like Bayley facing the Giants, kind of like Shawn Michaels versus Vader versus Sid. Bigger guys. I always compare it to those type of things because Bayley is a babyface at heart, even though she's been heel for like 4 years. But overall, getting this babyface treatment and going to Scotland, hopefully probably trying to get Piper Niven a go here, because I think that's another way you can get Piper Niven to be a heel. And I think she's kind of been Chelsea Green's foil a little bit, trying to her muscle and whatever the case may be. I think the roles should be reversed, actually, where Chelsea Green is the mic for Piper Niven. I think that's what angle they should go. And I don't know why Chelsea Green doesn't wrestle as much or hasn't showcased her skills as much. Maybe they're just hiding it or whatever the case can be, and maybe they're going to show it at some point.
Because she's a better character than she is a wrestler.
I understand that, but I think there's something there, because, again, I know it's only one thing, but I saw her do a Hanakarana in Lucha Underground, and it was crazy. And I was like, why doesn't she do this?
I know. It's not to say that she's not great in the ring, because I've seen some of that highlight stuff too. But again, that's how good the Karen character that she has.
And I think that's something they should switch that, where she should be the mic for Piper Niven and just be annoying that way. I think that's what they should do going forward, whatever the result of this match is. And this is probably setting up interesting time, right? Because we have Money in the Bank coming up, so maybe that's a push for Chelsea Green and Piper Niven heading into that match. Maybe that's something that they can look at. But yeah, this is just an interesting match. Bayley's real second defense, I want to say, of her title. So going into that, I think it's a good look for everybody involved and going into Scotland. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's a good build. Getting Piper and Chelsea Green into that situation, and I think it's going to be good. But let's move on to Paul Heyman warns Kevin Owens about the Bloodline. What do you guys think about this promo? Paul Heyman ushering, kind of warning Kevin Owens, hey, I don't have as much control here. Be careful. This is a more dangerous bloodline than you have ever witnessed before. And that's kind of what he's been kind of signaling the past couple of weeks. I have no control. These guys are out of control. These guys are wild Samoans. Be careful. What do you guys think about this promo? Because I think Paul Heyman, whenever he says anything now, it's just greatness. It's just greatness. Whatever he does, his facial expressions, his voice, the way he delivers things, I think it's great.
Yeah. So I had mentioned this. I mentioned this topic in the chat, and I kind of wanted to bring it up because this because it was that because like Daniel had alluded to, when Paul Heyman cuts these promos, his delivery and everything is so well that you as a viewer you actually believe in what he's saying, whether he's defending a heel character or whatever point he's trying to make. And I thought it was very interesting because this is the one time where, because I think after he had told Kevin Owens, tried to warn Kevin Owens obviously clap back with you think I'm gonna fall for the okie doke. I mean, this is you we're talking about. You've always had meal tickets and everything, but this is actually the one time where like Paul Heyman's cutting this promo, and it's like I actually believe him when he's trying to warn Kevin Owens. Definitely trying to bring some legitimacy to this new variation of the bloodline with Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao. So it's definitely Tonga Loa. My bad. I'm doing that Daniel shit.
I retire. I'm done. Brian has.
I mean, if you want to get technical, when Michael Cole first announced his name, he did say Tonga Lao, but I'm just saying, but it's Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa.
Show me the tape.
I definitely like this promo for Paul Heyman. I actually like this role that Paul Heyman has kind of been in lately. Trying to essentially where he's the wise man, but he's kind of like, trying to advise Solo that like, yeah, you're moving too fast with these decisions. I mean, the real tribal chief is still out here, and he really is trying to like advise him moving forward. And I like this new role, and I thought it was Paul Heyman at its best, and it was a great promo as always. Paul Heyman never fails to deliver.
No, yeah, I enjoyed the promo. Paul is an excellent promo man. No, you're always gonna get a great showing, and I like the range of emotions that he was showing. Like his actual concern, like you actually believed what he was saying about Kevin. It's like, look, you've met my kids, I've met your kids. I'm looking out for you. Why doesn't anybody listen to me? Why wouldn't anybody think?
That's the part I like the most.
I love how he pointed out. He's like, you've turned over a leaf. Why can't I? He's like, how many times have you turned on people and redeemed yourself? Why can't I redeem myself? My only thing with this promo is I think I'm just a little confused because, obviously, Paul Heyman's been showing up with Solo, and obviously, every week we see he's nervous. He's like what's going on? You're bringing in these people, like Roman hasn't approved this, and then Solo's over here telling him, well, I've been talking to him and he's cool with all this, and I'm the one in charge, so you listen to me. And he's over here like, what? Like, it's like he doesn't like I guess he's like still hung up on how great Roman is. He's like, how is Solo just taking over and running shit now, But I think the part I was confused about is like, Solo tells him like, all right, go handle this like Kevin Owens problem. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, he comes out and he's telling him like,
we've seen Paul Heyman's fight.
Exactly, what's he gonna do?
Yeah. Well, obviously that's not. So.
All he has to do is bring that phone, but the Pauly Dangerously phone gimmick out to the ring, and then just
big ass.
the big jack cell phone from the 1980s.
I think what I was confused about is like the fact that he's literally going out here and telling him was like, "Yo, Solo's crazy. These guys they're crazy. I'm trying to help you out, save yourself." Kind of talking down about Solo and the rest of them. So it's like, aren't you?
Well, I get what you're saying. That should be a backstage segment.
Not even that.
He snuck off to talk to Kevin Owens.
I think just with maybe that's what it should have been. Yeah. Because it's like you're saying this in front of everybody. Is like you kind of bad mouthing them. You're calling them thugs, these criminals, these guys are bloodthirsty, like hooligans. And I mean, he didn't say hooligans, but like just in general, it's like you're kind of bad mouthing. Aren't you putting yourself in the dangerous situation? You're always, tense and walking behind them, like looking at Jay, like you save me, and then you're gonna go out in front of the crowd and say all this stuff. So I don't know, it was just interesting, but like the way he conveys like all his emotions and his nervousness and his just like worriedness about how the bloodline's moving, it's just like it's just great. And that's what Paul Heyman's great at. I am very curious to see where this story's going, because I don't know, it's weird. Like, this new bloodline isn't, I don't know if this is what they were expecting, but it's not like it's not a negative reaction, but it kind of is there. And, I think people are just appreciating how good Roman was.
Mm-hmm.
And not to just have somebody fill those shoes. It's like, yeah, you're not him. So it's like,
this is the guy that put away John Cena, all right?
Yeah. Who hasn't done that?
Straight up. No, but I get what you're saying, because it is weird, because again, Solo comes out in this red shirt all the time, and I'm just like, okay, like I'm confused by that. Like, I get like he's the new de facto leader while Roman is gone and stuff like that, and he's kind of just been in running ruckshot with the guys, the brothers, and I'm like, okay, I understand that. That's cool. Cause havoc, cause damage, beat up people, and I think Paul Heyman's really carrying this story, because his emotions are basically carrying the story while everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. Everyone's focus is on Paul Heyman. His facial expressions when Solo's talking, like when the Tonga,
nervous, like,
the Tonga brothers are in the back, like just going wild, and he's scared, like he's a damsel, he's the damsel in distress in this, right? And it's weird, and that's the thing that's carrying the story, because we know Paul Heyman's going to get the payoff. Either Roman's going to come back, or they're going to put down Paul Heyman. But it's like, what happens to Paul when Roman comes back, right? Like, is he still in that wise man role? Because now it's like you're kind of questioning everything Solo's doing. Allegedly, all these things are coming from the tribal chief. Why are you questioning anything? Why are you warning people? Like, we should be kicking people's asses. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what role that is. And it just has me thinking of one person. Not The Rock, but Brock Lesnar. When is he going to rear his ugly head again? When is he going to come back? Because it's like,
like he needs backup. Like,
Paul is his guy, regardless of what that is. That's his guy. Like, that's kind of like, for better or for worse, that's kind of like Sami Owens and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They're there for each other. One way or another, they're going to come back to each other. And Brock Lesnar is not going to be finished with a bloodline. Like, that's going to be a forever feud for whatever. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm just thinking in my head, like, Paul Heyman's doing all this for a reason. Like, all this stuff is happening for a reason. The way he looks scared, the way he looks out of place in this new bloodline. Like, he's usually with Roman. Like, yes, my tribal chief. It's weird doing it to Solo, who's literally probably the youngest family member. Right? So, and Jimmy's away. So, like, that's another thing. Like, Jimmy's been put on the shelf. He's been out ever since this new iteration of the bloodline has come in. And you're just wondering where it's going. But Paul Heyman has been highly entertaining. And Kevin Owens still feuding with the bloodline.
Like
4 long years.
Oh my goodness, he's still doing it. Oh man, him and Roman Reigns at the Rumble. Book it.
That was a great match. That was a great
5 years in a
match. I would rewatch that match.
Nah, man, but it's just great bloodline story, and I know Paul Heyman said a couple
KO Roman for the Rumble series.
It's gonna happen, man.
Oh man.
No, but it's gonna be interesting. I know Paul Heyman said like last year, hey, we're only in the 3rd inning. Seems like they're stretching it out. It might be in the 5th inning by now, but interesting stuff from this promo. We'll see what happens with Paul Heyman and Kevin Owens still fighting the bloodline. Let's move on to the Raw side of things. Liv Morgan sets her target at Dom Mysterio. This is getting juicy, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting juicy. Liv Morgan continues to try to tear and pry everything away from Rhea Ripley while she is away. What do you guys think about this? Our interactions with Dom and Finn Balor getting in the mix of this, which is interesting. People actually trying to get in the way of Liv Morgan prying Dom from Judgment Day, or Rhea Ripley for that matter.
Well, I already shared a video in our chat of the reason why Finn Balor isn't involved. Because there's a long story that's being told from when Finn Balor and AJ Styles were together with Liv Morgan feuding against the original incarnation of the Judgment Day. Now we turn it around.
I understand what you're saying with that video. I understand what you're saying with that video. But that was literally like what, 3-4 years ago?
Okay, Bloodline storyline. We in the third. We still in the third or fourth inning now.
Oh man!
Judgment Day. We're at the same point.
Can you explain that video for people who might not know?
Okay, so the video is a backstage segment between Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor, and I think it was AJ and Finn. They were talking about a strategy with dealing with the Judgment Day moving forward, and they wanted Liv to come out to ringside with them, and the whole pretty much the whole gist of the story was pretty much to say that that Liv and Finn have been in cahoots from the very beginning to form the Judgment Day, and now we flip around to now, and now it kind of seems like they're reconciling in a sense. But to actually be serious, I'm liking the direction this is going. Liv. I know we used to critique Liv's mic skills, but her actual, I guess her flirtatious action, it's good. Jim
Ross would have
working for her.
Jim Ross would have some choice words for her. She's a Jezebel.
Jezebel.
Get that Jezebel out of here.
But I'll say this. With Liv being the women's champion now, and with Rhea being hurt, and Becky being away, and Raw's women's division is I'm going to say like very, very limited right now. So it's almost like this kind of like pressure on Liv to kind of stand out in a sense, because she's in this top storyline with the Judgment Day, and from what I saw on the with the opening promo, like I said, she was her flirtatious action came off well. I'm kind of liking Dom's acting in it, because he's confused. Probably thinking
What's he
my mind
confused about.
Probably thinking my mind is telling me no,
and he's getting attention.
My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes.
That is the question for Dominic Mysterio. That's probably what they need to call in Maury Povich and have a lie detector test. Let's go over the top.
Lie detector test for what?
To see if he had interactions with that woman.
They were recorded. Of course he did.
We gotta play up that. We gotta play up that.
I think eventually it's going to be revealed that they slept together. I don't know how they're going to present it, but it's going to be revealed. I don't know how. We don't know how it's going to be revealed. We don't know how it's going to be revealed.
That man is innocent until proven guilty. Okay.
Yeah. What Liv is doing right now is definitely working for her. I think this iteration of her, doing whatever she can to destroy everything of Rhea's, especially this whole thing with Dom, is working great for her. She's like conniving, she's manipulating, she's trying to reel him in right now. It's a great story. And now I just wonder how they're gonna drag this out. Is Dom fully gonna be with her now? And then what does that mean for the Judgment Day? Is he out of the Judgment Day? Is he still with them? Are they gonna bring her in slowly until she comes back? Are they gonna pull a full 180 and be like, nah, we don't need Rhea anymore? Is it gonna be that type of thing? I'm just very curious to see which way it's gonna go. The whole Dom thing is just, I find it hilarious, because it's like I was just saying, mommy's gone, she's here, she's giving him all the attention. Obviously, there has to be some story told about why he went out there in the first place. The whole I'm going to stop her from winning. But obviously, that's not what happened. And then, with all the stuff social media was saying about them popping out and then her in the bandana, I feel like when Rhea comes back, that stuff might be more explained, but it also depends on how far the story has gone at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, they only said that Rhea was going to be out a few months, which what's it been like 2 maybe now, or like a month and a half?
Approaching 2.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a return at SummerSlam. I feel like that would be like a great. But I think it's also true. It's like you got SummerSlam coming up, or you got Clash of the Castles. Like, who is she facing? Who is even available for her to fight? Or who's actually an actual contender, I should say.
I don't know if she's going to be on the card, but looking at it, everything coming full circle for Dom. If especially at SummerSlam, I'm predicting a ladder match for the Women's World Championship and the custody of Dominic Mysterio.
The custody of Dum Dum.
It all comes full circle, guys. It all comes full circle. But Liv Morgan, I think she's playing fantastic in this role of I don't even know what to call it. What is it? A home wrecker, I guess, if you want to say, of the Judgment Day. Playing that role really well. And it's funny because, again, we've all said, like, who's going to believe that she can beat Rhea Ripley? Manipulate with her mind. Play with her mind. Play with her
that's the thing. That's the thing. She's a legitimate home wrecker. Where it's like, where it's like it makes sense as to why she's destroying the relationship. It's not like how we see like some of these women who get involved in these situations and their intent is to kind of just mess things up when that's not really needed. But this is the one time where like it's justified. So it's that's why it's interesting.
She has a legitimate heat against Rhea Ripley, and she's crazed about making everything terrible for her. Now, the only thing that I'm thinking, of course, long term, because I'm always looking ahead, is this a way to make Rhea Ripley a full-fledged babyface?
Yeah,
I think this is what this story is basically doing, is building up sympathy for Rhea Ripley, who was away, getting played with, getting cheated on, getting injured, first of all. And now this is the way to make her a babyface. So when she returns, she's sad, she's miserable, she's enraged at Liv Morgan, disappointed in Dominic, whatever that situation is. Which is
me
weird.
personally, I thought. My bad to cut you off. No, me personally, I thought that she was going to come back as a babyface regardless, because all the reactions she was getting.
This just adds to it. That's my thing. The story just adds to it, especially her being away. And I think WWE is playing it smart, having Liv kind of place this little pieces of doubt over time, because it's not everyone's expected this to be fast paced. Everyone thought Dom was going to be with Liv Morgan already. Especially after the championship change at King of the Queen of the Ring. So everyone thought that was going to happen fast-paced, but they're kind of slow burning it. And I like that art of storytelling for the story. But kudos to everybody involved. I'm interested to see what Finn Balor plays, because Brian mentioned that video from years ago. Finn Balor has been the one getting in the way between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. And it's like, what angle is he playing? Like, I'm wondering what overall is going to happen with that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And kudos to everybody involved. It's entertaining. Definitely entertaining. But let's get back into, I wanted to touch base on Judgment Day back on track, because Damian Priest has been questioning a little bit his, everyone's kind of been questioning his title reign. What's going to happen with this title reign? Is he going to hold on to the belt? Is the dissension in the Judgment Day going to derail his championship run? But now it looks like everything's getting back on track. They're kind of focused linear, at least trying to keep Liv Morgan away from Dom, at least as a team going forward. They're having Carlito handle the dirty work with Braun Strowman, saying, hey, you want to be a part of our group? Go handle Braun Strowman, which is a tall task for anybody. And it's like, why wouldn't you guys just jump him? But it seems like Braun Strowman's trying to get involved in that situation as well. Judgment Day was able to, with Carlito, able to take out Braun Strowman after a match. After Carlito lost to him, they came and attacked him. So looking at it from that standpoint, and in the main event, Damian Priest picking up the win over Rey Mysterio with a little bit of help from Judgment Day, and getting involved with Drew, his opponent at Clash of the Castle in Scotland. He's going to be on foreign turf. He's going to be the heel. He's going to be the visitor in that situation where it's his home, Drew's home turf. What do you guys think about Damian Priest kind of trying to pull things in, and get everything back on track?
Yeah, doesn't it seem like he's trying to do like two things at once? Like still trying to be the leader of the Judgment Day, but also at the same time try to kind of distance himself from them in a way.
Yeah.
Like one moment he's trying to be the leader and keep them together, but as long as they're together, but when they're together, they're together. But when it's like his time and his moments, he kind of wants them to kind of just stay back. Or maybe he's starting to like open up a little bit now, because I know they got involved in the main event with Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm liking this from Priest. Because for a while it did seem like he was kind of going in that babyface direction when he would communicate with Judgment Day and pretty much tell them like, I don't need you guys, I'm fine by myself. But then they helped them with Jey Uso, and they kind of started that story again of them being together. So I thought that was very, very good. Now, as far as Priest goes, I do want to see a lot more heel out of him, especially on with this upcoming episode of Raw, because we all know that Clash at the Castle in Scotland. We all know that essentially that's Drew's show. I mean, I know it's pretty much going to be up in the air as far as who's gonna go over. I know we've been saying for the longest time that like it can't happen to Drew again. He kind of has to go over, but at the same time, Priest has had this title for what we're going on now 2 months now since WrestleMania. So that's definitely very very interesting. My personal opinion. If Drew hadn't signed that contract, I definitely would say then Drew has to go over. But now that Drew is paid, essentially now they can go in any direction now, because like I said, they have him. He's retained. So, but as far as the Judgment Day getting back on track, I do like that, because all of last year, all of through the fall, we had that storyline with Judgment Day being on top, and even before then, when they started to establish dominance on Monday Night Raw. I mean, we even got to the point where we thought that they were kind of rivaling the Bloodline at one point with how they were booked and everything. And obviously it wasn't as good, but you could definitely look at Judgment Day and then say that like how they were being booked on Monday Night Raw as compared to the Bloodline was kind of the same strength. So it was definitely very very interesting to see Judgment Day get back together now.
Judgment Day. I don't know. I'm still hoping for an implosion. Just because it's been hinted at for so long, but I think this is also a great time just to highlight Damian and show his leadership. And yeah, I think you guys mentioned it. Like, it does seem like he's just like more focused on trying to be the leader, trying to stand out. Obviously, because a lot of people kept commenting that Rhea was the real leader of the Judgment Day. So now that she's not here and can't like impose herself, he's just like, "Yo, guys, what's up? What are we doing? What's this? What's that?" So it's like, man's taking charge. He's did what he had to do to make him look dominant, and I think it's a good look. I think I am just with the whole Drew thing. It's like part of me is like, you can't cut his reign this short. But then it's like, do you really let Drew lose in his home country again? Like,
technically that first off wasn't in his home country. I mean, it was in the UK, but it wasn't actually in Scotland. So
logistics, Lewis.
Wait, I thought Clash at the Castle was in Scotland.
This one is in Scotland. The last one was in Glasgow.
Was Glasgow? I thought it was still Scotland.
Glasgow is Scotland, but I think last year it was. I think they said it was the UK. It wasn't Scotland.
No, I think it was.
I'll look that up. You guys keep going.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, because I thought it was just in Europe, in the UK. I don't know.
No, it was in. That's why the thing was Clash of the Castle, because it was in Scotland. Glasgow, Scotland. I thought that's what it was.
Nope, Cardiff, Wales.
That's right.
Answer is Wales, ladies and gentlemen.
England. Yeah.
Wow.
This one is in Glasgow, Scotland.
Ooh, so now you really got him in his home country.
This is the thing. There's one foil in that, Lewis.
I know. We already know.
But
they were
can you do it? You're saying, can you do it again? Yes, you can.
Have we seen that? I mean,
I have an idea.
How many times has Sammy lost it besides the one against Roman? How many times has Sammy lost a title in Canada or not gained a title in Canada?
He lost to John Cena when he made his main roster debut.
Oh, because he threw out his shoulder.
Well, he lost, Lewis. He lost.
He just hit his shoulder. He said, "Yeah."
Sasha Banks lost in Hell in a Cell.
I was there for that. I'm saying multiple times, not just the first.
I mean, that's the foil. You want to keep building that feud between Drew and CM Punk and keep that fire. Have a whole country pissed off.
So are we saying CM Punk's taking a flight to Scotland just to screw?
I'm just gonna say this: the security better be beefed up for CM Punk.
That's why I'm. That's what story wise it would make sense for him to do that, but it's like, but it's like
he's got to get out the country. That's the thing. If you're going to do that,
exactly. He's got to get out the country to do it. And but then again, it's like it is.
I mean, maybe that's what. Maybe that's another reason.
As far as their story goes, it would take things to another level. The fact that he showed up to his home to his own country and cost him.
Yeah. he would have Shawn Michaels Canadian level heat, but Scotland I think is a little bit more willing to act on that heat.
Exactly. I can only imagine in Scotland they actually hate the fuck out of CM Punk.
Maybe that's why they introduced Braun Strowman into the foil. Maybe Braun's the one that takes the heat in some capacity, but it's just like
disrupts the match or screws Damien.
Yeah, it just gets that done. I think that might be.
There's a lot of ways they can go about it, but it's like
the easiest way is just have Judgment Day screw him. That's the you have the group screw over Drew, and you keep that going. Maybe that's the way they do it. But if WWE wants to get Sergeant Slaughter level heat from like 1991, CM Punk costing Drew might not be the way you want to go. I don't know how that's going to work. But Drew, the easiest answer, if this was any place else, it would be CM Punk costing him the match. Okay, but to have him lose in the same town again is crazy.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dave, but I'll say this much: if they do decide to go in that direction, I really do hope it's because CM Punk is actually healthy and ready to go now from the tricep injury. Because I don't know how much longer they can play this like cat and mouse game with Drew and CM Punk, with both of them having injuries and everything.
I thought CM Punk was cleared.
Drew was cleared. But I don't know if Punk is yet.
Oh, okay. Hurry up, CM Punk. That's what I'm saying.
We can't have Punk. Exactly. You can't have Punk interfere in the match just for Punk to go away for another month to continue rehab, because then the story is on pause again. So it's like
learn how to fall.
Set it up so how to fall. Who's next match?
How about that?
Let's see you do it, Dan.
You're a professional wrestler. Hey, I don't have nearly 30 years of experience like Phillip Brooks here. Okay, learn how to fall. How about that?
Oh, then why don't you tell Vince that when he blew out both his quads just from trying to get in?
Vince is not a wrestler.
He kind of was a wrestler.
He's a promoter. Come on, Brian. Come on, Lewis.
How many matches did this man have? Come on now.
Hey, he was fighting for a
company. Those weren't matches.
He's had
matches. They were attractions, damn it. They weren't matches.
He's had more matches than Logan Paul. The man
Vince has had a lot of matches.
God at one point, all right?
and one.
Evil incarnate, right?
Oh my God. Him and the product of his semen. Shane McMahon.
So then that's what I'm saying. Look how many matches he had. You're not going to call him a wrestler?
He was protecting his company. He was protecting his investment. Okay? He was protecting his investment. But now we'll see what happens with Judgment Day, man. They've been cooking. I like the direction they're going with Damien, because we were all worried that he was going to lose it, but throughout even all this booking, even if he does lose the title, at least he's standing on his own. I feel like he's standing out more than kind of having the reign of the Money in the Bank briefcase kind of like sour that and Drew over him and CM Punk and all whatever this case may be. I feel like he's looking good throughout all this.
Yeah, I think it'd be a shame if he lost his title to this quick.
You're gonna, as we all said, you're gonna have Drew lose again. It's actually
you're going
his
with that.
Family's going to be in the crowd, man. His family's going to be.
Is that not your?
He got his money now, so we don't have to worry about all that.
You got his money now.
Wait. So,
could you imagine having your son come to your home country? Look at my son. He lost. All right, he's coming back again.
His mom, his wife, like
he's a loser.
His wife is
a loser.
His wife is gonna come back. His wife is gonna have to see him lose for the first time. Him coming home
should be all right.
They're gonna pull a Chad Gable again. They're gonna have
the check cleared.
Exactly. The check is clearing, so we'll be all right.
He's like, hey, I lost, but look at that house, though.
Oh man, but we'll see what happens with the Judgment Day, and I'm interested to see what this title match comes up next week and see how it goes. But let's continue on here. I wanted to talk about this as well. Chad, wrong one. Chad Gable's reign of terror, man. I'm loving the heel work, man. I'm loving the heel work from this guy, suckering in Sami Zayn again. Alpha Academy was out there. Sami Zayn comes out there, confronts Otis, basically saying, hey, continuing that whole spiel about, hey, listen to the fans, you're being manipulated, wah. And then wham, Chad Gable comes out of nowhere and attacks him, takes him out. Berates. Oh, wait, Chad Gable berated Maxine Dupree in Akira Tozawa. Maxine got hurt in the debacle. Akira Tozawa got hurt as well, and I just love the aftermath of it all of Chad Gable being delusional, going, "Hey, great work, Maxine, with your acting and stuff like that." And she's like, "No, I'm really hurt.
No. Yeah, your stage acting. I love it." That's exactly what I was about to bring up, because that's the one takeaway from that entire segment was the backstage segment afterwards. What how hype he was, and how like Daniel said, how delusional he was with everything that happened, and delusion is a huge thing with heels. So that was priceless. That was hilarious. But definitely love. I agree with you, Daniel. I'm loving Chad Gable's heel work right now.
And the big man.
I know Otis. At first. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Otis, exactly. Like I said last week, Otis is going to become a big baby face now out of this, and maybe he can redeem himself from what they initially were trying to do with him years ago. I know that was more of the booking that kind of soured on Otis, but now that he's in such a powerful story like this with the Alpha Academy and Chad Gable being this abusive dictator, Otis is definitely going to be like the biggest babyface now coming out of it.
Otis had everything. He had Mandy Rose, the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Vince, right?
Yeah, man was on top of the world, man.
Vince is. But
slapped in the face.
Yeah, and I know how I've been saying week after week, they kind of have to slowly build this to eventually get it to a point where it's going to reach its climax. And I think we're getting to that point now, because I think they're scheduled to have one last Intercontinental title match at Clash at the Castle, right?
Yeah.
Sammy that officially said that was going to happen. So that match may actually end up being the climax, whereas though he gets one more shot, he ends up failing, and Alpha Academy didn't help him to the point where he just flips his shit on them, and then next thing you know, we finally get the real Alpha Academy with the Creed brothers and Ivy now joining him, which is something I've been screaming for the last couple of weeks on this podcast.
He was talking to them in a backstage segment. It was in the background. So something is brewing.
Yeah, so that's definitely happening. So that's the case. So love what we're seeing from Chad Gable right now. We're gonna get one more great title match out of it with Sami Zayn. So yeah, enjoying it.
Loving it.
Still not the heel I wanted. But you know, my only thing, not that it was a bad segment, but I thought when he went from berating Otis to Zawa to then Maxine, I was like, yo, this promo is gonna either get a huge negative reaction if this man is now gonna try and like intimidate Maxine by being like, I'm gonna beat you or something like that. I was like, that will be such a bad hit on their part. So when he was just like, oh, just get on the ground and beg, and I was just like, you guys are
they're pushing the envelope
a little
Vince vibes.
You already had him basically trying to take the belt to Otis. I'm like, what are you gonna do to Maxine? I don't know. But yeah, definitely great heel work. I think that backstage segment just like just showed like the giant ego that he has right now, and just how like he's like, look, I have control over these guys, and it doesn't matter how much crap I talk to them, they're still gonna do what I say.
Otis is still loyal. Otis is still loyal.
Yeah. And like Brian said, once he turns, it's going to be a huge pop for him. I wonder if they'll save that for Clash at the Castle, or if it'll either backfire and Otis actually helps him win the title. You know, could this be Chad Gable's moment of finally, you know, achieving his dream and, you know, capturing gold? But it's like,
I mean, to me, I'm thinking that's a possibility for the Creed brothers to step in.
Yeah,
where Otis fails again at Clash of the Castle to help him.
Finally gets rid of him.
And yeah, he has a backup plan in the Creed brothers to help him win the belt. To me, Sammy doesn't need the belt. Whatever they're doing with Sammy, he does not need the belt. He does not need the belt. But we need Chad to have that big moment, man. That's what I want. And I think hopefully this is on the pathway to that. Whatever way they go, I hope they go that way with Chad Gable winning that. I hope. But let's get into Becky Lynch's contract has expired. No more Becky Lynch. She's gone. She has not signed a new one or renewal. What do you guys make of this? Is this a good show in faith saying, hey, go take a break and then eventually come back? Because of course, the internet's going to say she's going to AEW, and I don't think there's any place where she's going to AEW, even in I don't think there's any way of that happening. Is this a way that she can see how much money leverage she has? And I think this is a good time, especially with everybody out injured. Asuka's hurt. Charlotte's eventually going to come back. Rhea's going to come back and find her place. Is she going to take a reduced role? What do you guys make of this and her going on a break?
Well, initially I just took it as, well, they couldn't agree to a deal right now. And now that she's going to go take that break that she was supposed to take after WrestleMania, you know, mentally recharge, physically recharge, spend some time with Seth and her new daughter, and then they'll go back to the negotiating table again. And at that point, they'll probably agree to a deal. This topic is obviously very shaky because it's all based upon dirt sheet reports. I mean, you let the dirt sheets tell it. The dirt sheets will say that she is going to end up going to AEW and that she has no interest in going back to WWE. Some
she's been booked so well.
some dirt sheets are saying that, like, yeah, she'll take this extended break, but it's not an extended break to go back to WWE. She might go talk to AEW instead. So it's like there's a lot of like stories out there. But my humble opinion, I don't think there's any interest for her to go to AEW. Because, you know, in WWE, because in WWE, you know, it'll be well established that she'll be a top star there in WWE. Yeah. And that's been well established. I mean, we may have our own opinions about her for the character and how she became a top star, but the facts are the facts. She's a top star. She's a top star in WWE, and if she were to go to AEW, it'd just be another case of she'll be hot for a month. And then after a month, and then it'll be the same old with a lot of these people that they sign where they're hot for a month, and then they're on Collision every week, or they're on Rampage every week. And
I don't know. Is all in Wembley alluring? You know, the dollar signs. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, and plus, it was announced that even the dirt sheets announced that Seth had re-signed. So I think that plays a role.
Hey, maybe she wants a break. We don't know what happens in their household. Okay, Brian.
Is that negativity I hear?
Hey. WWE has been doing some negativity stuff. They're breaking up Rhea and Dom, breaking up the Alpha Academy. I'm just saying, betrayal. AJ Styles is lying to people. I'm just saying, it's out there. You don't have to look at dirt sheets for that, Lewis. That's out in the open. That's in your face.
You're saying there's problems in the relationship, and you don't know that. Are you in their house? Are you a fly in their house? No, you're not.
This is WWE TMZ.
Yeah, but I mean, I never want to say never. You can never say never in professional wrestling. I mean, this is the same. No. I mean, for God's sakes,
I'm gonna say it.
Her heart came back.
I'm gonna say it. Never. It's not. She's not going to AEW. She has been booked so well in WWE.
You know what? I would. The only thing, just because it's a thing that's been coming up now, I wouldn't be surprised if she popped up in TNA. Just because of the relationship that's going on right now, and her just maybe popping up having a match there. But I think that, like Brian said, I think she's just taking that break, and it's probably like, hey, you know, when I come back, we'll do more negotiations. But for now, I need a break. I want to spend time with my family, spend time with my husband, and probably just enjoy not working. You know, if you look at it, Becky, you know, from after her pregnancy to coming back, she's been nonstop. You know, she held the title, then she dropped the title, and then she was taking another break, and then got the title again, and then dropped it again. So it's like she's been going nonstop. So from last year to this year's Mania and everything. So it's a well-deserved break. Obviously recharge, and we also don't know. She could have injuries that she needs to deal with as well.
Her and Seth.
Exactly. They put in a lot of work, and I'm sure she just did it. But yeah, I don't see her going to AEW at all. I mean, if it was like, no, I couldn't really see it. But hey, a lot of people didn't believe Cody was coming over here, and he did. Same thing with Punk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there was one person who believed in that. Just
which one?
Yeah.
Which one? Cody or Punk?
I'm still surprised that Punk is still with WWE, even though it's been a couple of months now. I'm still taken aback by that, because I really did think that too much had gone on, and that he would never come back. But like Daniel said, money talks. So
money talks, man.
That was one. I think.
That money didn't lure Will Ospreay.
That's another situation.
That's a different scenario.
I mean, like, Triple H did not say your name, dude. So the fact that you're taking it still taking it personal, that means there must have been some truth into what Triple H was saying, because he didn't say your name.
Yeah, that was a bad look. But Becky Lynch contract expiring. She's going on sabbatical. Hopefully gets a good long break. Comes back refreshed with Seth. Maybe they're a couple when they come back, whatever the case may be. Hopefully they're healthy. They've done that before, but I mean,
exactly, and they did it before, and it almost killed both of them, because because Seth has always been portrayed as kind of like the cool character, and then Becky Lynch was kind of like the man. So that's also another cool character. But when they were together, they came off very corny, and it didn't work to me.
It didn't work at all.
Everything that was cool about them when they were together, it became awkward.
No, it was bad. It was bad. But we'll see what happens with her contract situation when she comes back. Hopefully she comes back healthy, her and Seth, and everything's good there. I wanted to touch on one thing because Brian mentioned TNA Invasion. Jordynne Grace has entered NXT. She will face Roxanne Perez at Battleground. Is the title on the line for the NXT Championship? I believe it is.
For the NXT title, yes.
So I just wanted to talk about TNA's Invasion, because they have done this with Mickie James in the past, Jordynne Grace. Is there potential for other superstars from TNA to go to WWE? And I know Dolph Ziggler's down there. I just thought about all the stuff that's happening. Josh Alexander potentially coming up, Moose coming up, or making an appearance in NXT. Whatever the case may be, what do you guys just think about that potential working relationship that seems to continue?
I think I'm curious why it's just NXT. Because we had Mickie James in the Rumble.
It's usually the Rumble or NXT.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just curious to how TNA's present or how WWE's presenting them. Like, all right, yeah, let's bring your people over, but let's bring them to our developmental. So it's like, is that a better deal for them on their end, or is that just WWE being
It is exposure. But it is exposure. Again, we talked about it before. Like, where do we find TNA? Like, exactly. So it does help them in that case of showcasing.
I mean, this could also bring more eyes to their product, have more people watch them. Maybe they get on the major network. Who knows? It could do a lot for them. I've been meaning to watch some stuff. I think there's also rumors of maybe those, but I think if it comes to like the Moose and the Josh Alexanders, I feel like those are top guys where even Jordan Grace, I feel like should be popping up on WWE, not just NXT. I feel like they're like bigger than NXT. I guess is what I'm saying. Like I feel like they're not a huge promotion, but they're the top people in their company. So you would think TNA would be like, well, put them with your top people and see how that goes. But maybe it's just testing the waters in NXT and be like, all right, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how the reaction is. If people are invested in, maybe this could lead to bigger and better things. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of something we've kind of been, in a sense, kind of waiting for WWE to do, right? I mean, I know they kind of, with NXT, they kind of, maybe dabbled in it with some of the in the black and gold days, but cross promotion is always good in professional wrestling. And the fact that WWE has never been known to do it, and the fact that they're kind of opening their forbidden door, as to say, to kind of to TNA. Now it's a good thing for the fans, unless for people like us. You get to see some of this talent mixing up. I've always wanted to see what Moose against Roman Reigns would be, because at one point in time when they both were the top guys, I remember seeing a couple of promos of Moose kind of like on the side referencing Roman Reigns and saying that they kind of need to fight to see who's the true number one champion is. Daniel, you mentioned Josh Alexander, the walking weapon. Just think of all the programs you could do with him. So I like the crossover. I'm kind of in agreement with Lewis that why not do it on the main roster. My guess is because they probably feel that like NXT's audience is probably geared more towards like that towards the other indie promotions or other promotions in general, because that fan base is pretty much like people like us, the kind of like the diehard wrestling fans. So they probably would think that somebody like a Jordan Grace or a Josh Alexander wouldn't be well received by the WWE main roster audience, since that's a kind of like a broad audience made up of mostly of just like the casual fans. But like NXT's audience, those are the actual like diehard wrestling fans, so they probably just felt that people would know them better. But I love the invasion. I love the invasion. Now, if they could actually make like an actual like story of it, and kind of mirror the Alliance versus WWE.
You want Vince Russo again?
If you can actually do it right and give it justice. If you can actually do it right and actually get like the top TNA talent. I mean, if you're doing this working relationship, I'm assuming that includes the top TNA talent. You can actually have a little NXT versus TNA.
Let's see that first Survivor Series.
Exactly. You can make a little story and do something out of that. But
I'm wondering.
I like the cross promotion. It's about time.
I'm wondering because it's always been the women, right, that have been able to like come in the door. Mickie James, Jordan Grace. It's never really been the men, actually. And I'm just thinking about Dolph Ziggler going down there recently. He left WWE, like he was done. and went to TNA. So does that potentially open up the door for that to happen again?
Nope.
We talk about Moose. Eric Young is down there. Not what's the guy? Not who's down there? Not Buddy Murphy. Who's the guy who was losing all the time? I can't remember his name.
Oh, are you talking about Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins?
Yeah, Kurt Hawkins. He's down there raising havoc. What's that crazy guy's name? PCO's down there. Yeah, PCO's down there raising hell down there. I always catch his matches. So a lot of talent down there in TNA, and they've been kind of in the change down there with Scott D'Amore leaving. And trying to stay afloat, trying to figure out what direction they're going, because talent was worried about that as well. So maybe working with WWD opens that branch, opens that confidence within the brand again, and having that working relationship, because AEW was working with TNA during that Kenny Omega spiel and Rich Swann and stuff like that. So seeing that partnership basically kind of end, it looks like. It looks like, because I don't see them working with TNA unless TNA is kind of like the freelancer for both of those brands, where they're like, oh, we're open for business. We're open for business. Like, we'll work with whatever you guys need or whatever the case may be, contractually. But it's be interesting. I think this could be something bigger and more, especially for TNA. Maybe getting a little bit more exposure, whatever the case may be. I don't know if WWE's pulling the Vince and looking to buy TNA in this world, but who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that because I felt like it was an interesting thing. Jordan Grace is on NXT. She was on NXT tonight with NXT TNA jacket, which was crazy, like the whole NXT TNA together. So it's like, is that a merger? Is TNA looking to do its own TNA and NXT looking to do its own thing and merge together and become something bigger and have its own legitimate third brand? Which is crazy in the world of wrestling, because before we got on, we were talking about how there's so much wrestling. So that would be crazy. So I'm just looking at the prospects of that, man, and I think that's cool of how that's going, man. But yeah, lots of going on in the wrestling world. A lot of betrayal, as I said. I got my suit jacket repping for AJ Styles and Mark Henry, man. But that will do it for this one, man. Thank you guys for always joining me, and we'll continue Clash of the Castle picks next week. We'll see what's happening with TNA. This is filmed
before we go. I also mentioned that this coming Sunday is NXT Battleground, which is going to be held at what's the name of the UFC place that's going to be held at in Vegas?
Apex.
Yep.
Okay.
UFC
All right.
Vegas, right?
The Apex, which I'm actually very interested to see how the production is gonna be for that, because I do remember seeing the Apex in like
it's a different venue. It's a different venue.
I know they presented it in like the what was the name of the reality TV show that UFC did? What the Fighter or whatever?
Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. So I remember the venue from the Ultimate Fighter. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how
it's also where they did fights during COVID too. That was like
that's where they really took it. Fight Island, basically. They were crazy, and it's a different venue, especially because it's all one level. That's another thing. It's not like a raised stadium or arena. It's actually just one level. When they showed on Raw, they still have the UFC ring in the middle, and I'm like, is this going to be a UFC ring that they're using, or is it going to be or they're going to be wrestling in the octagon? They never made that clear, but it's going to be interesting for sure, because that's definitely a different venue, a different look for everyone involved. I know Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler are supposed to have their underground match. I wonder if they're going to do it in the octagon, which would be a different look, bringing back to the days of Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart and Steve Black.
They probably are, because I mean, if you're gonna be there, you might as well.
It's not gonna be a fight pit match.
Everybody gloves.
It's not gonna be a fight pit match.
And you got two women with MMA, with like legit MMA experience. I mean, you might as well use the octagon. I mean, you're there.
I mean, they did have Shayna Baszler fight at Bloodsport. She appeared at Bloodsport with Josh Barnett and stuff like that. So there's a little something here. I don't know if WWE is going to get that physical. I don't know if they're going to go that far. But it's going to be interesting. A definitely different look. I'm definitely going to check it out. But that will do it for this episode of Ring Takes, man. Thank you guys for joining me. And until next time.